Welcome, beautiful people of Hexaco. Welcome back. How is everybody doing today? We're going to give everybody a couple minutes to start to trickle in. And then we're going to get right into the topics at hand. Kaisa, good to see you. DGen Hexakin, like button has been smacked. Make sure you tickle that like button, guys. Give it a nice little jab. David James, how are you doing? Red Squirrel, hello. Probabilicious, Clairvoyant, ATX Crypto, how you doing, dude? Great coming on your channel the other day. Franklin, what's Gucci? How are you, Franklin? My brother over in, what is it, Brazil? Where are you these days, Franklin? All right, snooze wisely. Hello. Guys, what's going on? It's a great day to be alive, huh? Never a dull moment in Hexaco. What's been going on the past couple of days? Let's recap for anybody that's not on social media as much. Maybe you just want to hear it from me, but, a lot of people are on Twitter all day long, but we forget sometimes that that's not all of the community. I really often do wonder how many people are on Twitter night and day 24/7 versus, the rest of the people in, PulseChain, HEX, and all those kind of coins or crypto in general. A lot of people are, they just set it and forget it. They buy the coins and they go away. And to be honest, they're probably a lot better off for that sometimes because they get to miss all the FUD, the day-to-day drama. And, that stuff often shakes people out, especially if it's your first time or if you've got weak hands or no conviction in yourself or in what you're holding. Sometimes being on social media is the juice ain't worth the squeeze, so to speak. But what's been going on, guys? Had a nice healthy pullback in PulseChain, PulseX, and HEX and INC token. And in crypto, we're talking, 60%, right? And it sounds ridiculous. So if you're used to the stock market or the real estate, if you're in boomer traditional finance, yes, 60% pullback is a feature, not a bug, okay? 60% pullback in crypto, believe it or not, is considered a healthy pullback. That's why we always say, what do we say, guys? The price you pay for the mad gains is extreme volatility. Extreme volatility, okay? And so 60%, 63% dip. That was a couple of days ago. And then on June 1st, lo and behold, what did we say was going to happen, guys? Obviously, the Fed's going to raise the debt ceiling because they have to. What else are they going to do? They don't want to go to war, okay? The only thing that we can pay with other than money and printing more money out of nowhere, out of thin air as a government is we can pay with bullets, okay, which we don't want to do. We don't want to kill the golden goose, We don't want to start unnecessary problems, and we can just get rid of the debt ceiling for the next 2 years. Get rid of it, which is basically what we've done. There's going to be no cap on debt issuance until January of 2025. So that gives us about a year and a half to pamp, baby. Get ready for the maximum pampage in the next 1.5, 2 years. Kind of right on schedule with the Bitcoin halvening, perfectly aligned with the China unban, the cyclical China ban, unban cycle. They're always banning it, unbanning it. But guess what? It's unbanned again. They got a new regulatory framework. And hey, that's better than the United States can say, right? They've at least got some rules out there, which is better than the chaos going on at the SEC and the Federal Reserve right now. They can't even agree on, what's a security and a commodity, much less, how to even regulate this body in general. Okay. They don't know what's going on. And if you believe in all that astrology stuff, it was conveniently aligned with a nice little full moon yesterday. Full moons tend to be, if you're into that, tend to be periods of higher volatility, and full moons to the downside, new moons to the upside. So a little something for everybody, a little something for the astrology boys and girls, a lot of girls, I'm sure, a little something for the macro people, and of course the fundamentals of PulseChain being a brand new launch right around this time. It's just a perfect storm, guys. And if you don't see what's coming, if you can't look beyond the day-to-day, see what's coming in the next months and years, well, you're going to have a real bad time. You're too zoomed in. You need to zoom out. Look at all the good stuff going on, guys. We've got plsburn.com. plsburn.com. I'm sure you guys have heard of that website. If you haven't, you got to bookmark it. Bookmark plsburn.com because, guys, there's been some updates. There's a new iOS app for plsburn.com, and the whole website's got a nice little revamp. Look at the screen if you want to follow along. Obviously, we've got the prices of all of our favorites. Kind of not moving today, down 2%, but we'll go to charts in a minute. Guys, we've got the validator statistics. Global. PulseChain is a global movement, grassroots, organic, run by the people for the people. Look at all these nodes: Texas, California, Florida, Brazil, Chile, UK, Spain. I think I see Greece in there. I see India, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Indonesia, Australia, all the way from Perth to Sydney. You've got New Zealand, China, Hong Kong. I mean, you've got it all, guys. Russia. Crypto's global. Okay, crypto's global. So, I mean, when you're joining this cryptocurrency community, you're joining a global community. 20,500 validators worldwide. You can just look at that beautiful little globe. The bridge, right now we're sitting at 161,000 US dollars of value has crossed over the PulseChain bridge, bridge.pulsechain.com. If you don't know about that, watch my last video if you're new here. PulseX, we've got numbers going up mostly across the board. Volume's gone a little bit down. Liquidity's kind of equalizing at about 400 million. And transactions obviously always going up just because there's always more transactions, right? I don't know if that's cumulative or just daily. Actually, I don't know about this chart. But if it's daily, that's good because it's been going up. Activity has been going up every day. If it's cumulative, well, that's obvious. Of course, transactions are going to always go up if you add them all together as a total. But anyway, volume, liquidity, we saw a little dip in liquidity. Why? Because of the big deal, the big scary bug, the big non-issue, nothing burger bug that's already been fixed. So, you got your bottom signals, right? You've got your coin desks and your coin market caps, your Barry Silberts and your CZs and their little lemmings, the little gremlins over there. Sexist, I might add. That Ivan guy seems to be pretty sexist. And, they're trying to make fun of PulseChain, but I mean, this FUD is so weak compared to the stuff that we had at the beginning of HEX. And you got to know that when you're reading mainstream crypto news articles, guys, if you're new to crypto, you got to realize who owns these mainstream news sources. Don't just read an article and take it at face value because the quality of journalism in crypto is piss poor, absolute doggy poo-poo, just the worst of the worst, okay? They'll hire anybody because these guys that are writing these articles, they're paid to write articles. They're paid by the word. And if they were actually successful at investing or business, well, they wouldn't be taking, writing articles for $100 a pop over at CoinDesk or whatever. But who owns CoinDesk? Digital Currency Group, Barry Silbert and the like. They own Grayscale. They own a lot of crypto. They own a lot of centralized services. The very centralized middlemen that crypto was invented to get rid of. They're just the new banks, okay? They're the new banks. And when have the banks ever had your best interest at heart? Also, Binance, owner of CoinMarketCap, owner of a lot of the FUD articles that you may or may not have read. And that's why, because PulseChain's a competitor. Binance has their own blockchain, Binance Smart Chain. It's ranked second in volume after Ethereum. PulseChain's ranked fourth, and it moved up the ranks pretty freaking quick for a 2-week-old blockchain, maybe 3 weeks old, okay? PulseChain's 3 weeks old, and it's already number 4. Yeah, you better believe CZ and Binance is scared right now. They're scared. They don't want it to happen. They want Richard to be a scammer. They want you to be poor. They don't want you to get rich. And so that's what they're doing. They're going to try to FUD. Little do they know that we've grown so big. We're an unstoppable force, and that can barely shake us. If that shakes you out of your bag, that's laughable. You were never going to make it in the first place. If anything, you should read that and double down on your position because, guys, they can't even get the facts right. All right. They called HEX a blockchain. They called it like a sister chain to PulseChain. HEX isn't a blockchain. All right. HEX is a smart contract that lives on top of a blockchain. That was in the first sentence, right? They got so much stuff wrong in these articles that I don't even want to go through it. I'm not even going to give it the time of day. I just want to point out that these are bottom signals, guys. When you start seeing people coming out of the woodwork, trying to point fingers as to why, what they're doing is they're coping, right? It's maximum cope because these guys didn't want to get in PulseChain. They're too proud to admit that it's a good project because they think they're smarter than they actually are. They hate us because they ain't us. And a lot of times these academic types, they don't understand that just because the technology is good doesn't mean something's going to pump. So they nerd out. They're like Arbitrum, ZK Sync, rollups, layer 2, near, and they all jerk each other off. But they wonder and sit around and wonder why their coins aren't pumping. It's because, yeah, you need good technology, but you need a good narrative, a good use case, and people getting the word out there. People like myself, people like K4K, Hexologist, Miguel, Dollar Cost Crypto, RG3 from Discourse Syndicate. You need all these people, and there's hundreds of us, okay? Hundreds of us. Guru Finance, there's so many people, cryptographics, like so many channels spreading the word, educating people about how to do crypto the right way, not your keys, not your coins. And no other community has that. Zero. Try to go find an Arbitrum only YouTube channel. You're not going to find it. Just Nerdville over there. And the best tech doesn't make the coins pump. And people are in crypto, yes, for the tech, but they're also here to get rich, okay? And we're some of the only people out here admitting that this is why people get into crypto. You want to get rich? Sure, that's fine. Some people don't like the word rich. They think money's bad, okay? Feel sorry for those people. Here's a better term, financial freedom. How about that? How about not being a wage slave for your entire life and working for the man and being a little hamster on the wheel, chasing the carrot on the stick, all right? How about financial freedom? Is that good enough for you? You little soy boys out there that don't like the word rich, getting rich. That's what people get into crypto for, okay? So you get them in with the good narratives, the good layer one narrative, store of value, decentralized exchange, buy and burn. You know, I'm talking about PulseChain, PulseX, HEX, saving yourself from yourself, being a better Bitcoin, storing value by incentivizing stakers to hold the price up rather than miners to sell the price down. You get them in with these narratives and you design coins to have maximum price performance, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with making money. A lot of you guys have it in your mind that making money is somehow a bad thing. And that's called getting in your own way. Psychologically, that's always going to stop you if you feel guilty for trying to be successful, trying to ascend into the capital class and make a better life for yourself and the people you love. If you're feeling guilt or shame about that, well, don't stop. Get that out of your mind. Otherwise, you were always going to be your own worst enemy. Where was I going, though? Where was I going with this? Basically, yes. We get them in with the get rich, right? Financial freedom. But as a side effect, what people don't even know is that by the time there's a wallet in everybody's hands, by the time everyone's holding their own private keys, by the time everybody has censorship-resistant peer-to-peer digital money in their pocket, and we're all accepting it and transacting with it, you know, they say history is made one funeral at a time, right? So the gray hairs in office, the Federal Reserve, that generation dies off. The millennials, the Gen Xers, the boomers, even there's boomers that have an open mind, but there's a lot of old guys that want to keep things the way that it is. They want to keep the status quo. All right. They're afraid of change, and we are the change. We're the movement, right? We're the grassroots movement. It's the biggest thing since the internet. It's the separation of money and state. And by the time there's a wallet in everyone's hand, you know, people get in for the get rich narrative, but they stay for the financial freedom, and they stay for the censorship resistant borderless digital peer-to-peer money. What's better than that? Money that doesn't live at a bank, money that nobody can shut off. If you want to donate to a cause that the government doesn't agree with, no one can tell you what to do or what not to do. You own your private keys. And if you don't, you're doing crypto wrong. If you got your keys at Coinbase, guess what? Social credit score comes out in 10 years. You start talking badly about the government. You say something they don't like, and you're gone. And they shut your account off. Maybe they shut off your Facebook. Maybe they shut down your Instagram. You are no longer a human being on this earth. You have no voice and no money, no power. That's what can happen if we give all of our power away to the very corrupt middlemen that crypto was invented to expose. Bitcoin was born in 2008. Okay, 2008, year of the great financial crisis. Now we're coming back for round two. Well, this is really more like round four, right? People don't realize it's all a cycle. Every 4 years, crypto goes up crazy, crazy high, and then it dips 90%. People are always like, oh, crypto's dead. Crypto's dead. I'm so glad I didn't get involved in that. Really, that's the time you should be buying, okay? That's the time when everybody doesn't want to touch it, and everyone's scared of it, is the time that you can scoop up all those cheap coins, blood in the streets, right? It's what Warren Buffett says. You buy when there's blood in the streets. Be greedy when others are fearful. What are people doing right now? They're kind of fearful, right? Kind of fearful. Let's take a look at the price charts. Let's talk about fear, guys. Want to talk about fear? PLS price chart. Look at the screen right here. We dipped 63% in the last 9 days. Okay. That was right when that was my last live stream 4 days ago, where I said, hey, no financial advice, but it looks like a pretty good buy. Guess what, guys? Up 50% in the last 4 days. Now, I don't give financial advice, but I can put a chart in front of your face. I could lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink. Okay. 50% rebound in the last 4 days. So if you hate it at the 60% dips, you're not going to ever achieve those 50% returns, those 50% rebounds 4 days later, 4 freaking days later. If you can't wait that long, if you can't zoom out on the chart, if you're one of these guys on the 15-minute chart or 1 hour chart, I want to reach through the screen and just slap you in the face. Don't do that. Just chill. Take a step back. Relax, guys. Just relax. Have fun with it. My God, I mean, you're stressing yourself out. You're looking at the 15-minute chart thinking that, if somehow if you look at it the right way, it's going to affect the outcome. You have no control over this. You only have control over the long-term narrative of where things are headed. You have no control over the daily volatility, okay? That's day traders, that's professionals, that's people with more time, money, and resources than you that do this for a full-time job. And you think as a little retail guy, you're going to be the smart one. And you're going to get in there and be a day trader. Good luck. Good luck, buddy. Oh, but here's what I wanted to say about plsburn.com. Look, they got a nice little buy PLS button. So if you're wondering how to buy PLS, not only did I make a video yesterday about how to do that, share that video with your friends, guys. Make sure you share it. But buy PLS, nice big button on plsburn.com, integrating a payment processor with a focus on security. Okay, this is a third-party browser extension or iframe, basically, from letsexchange.com. Letsexchange.com. There's a tutorial video if you want to learn how to do it, but it's going to take a little bit of time to load. Give it some time. Okay, you can basically, if you've got any crypto coins at all, you can now buy PulseChain with them. It doesn't matter what chain you're on. You got Binance, you got BSC coin. Great. You can go buy Pulse with it. You got Ethereum. You can buy Pulse. You got Shiba. You can buy Pulse. You got Quick Swap token on Polygon network. You got some random exotic thing that no one's ever heard of. You can probably buy Pulse with it. This is any chain cross-chain swap. Okay. Facilitated by Let's Exchange. It's a little iframe. Now, technically, it's not allowed in America. Technically, it's not allowed in America. But you know what you can do? You can go on vacation to another country and do it there. You guys ever heard of a VPN? You can put on your VPN when you're, of course, obviously, when you're on a vacation, you got to take an exotic vacation to the Bahamas. Okay. Got to go to the Bahamas, go to Brazil, go to some other beautiful country, log on, and then buy your Pulse, and then come all the way back home. There you go, guys. There you go. Fees are high. Yeah, fees might be high on this. So thanks for confirming that, dude. Fees might be high right now on the plugin on plsburn.com, but I mean, it might be worth it to you if all you want to do is get into the ecosystem and you've got a bunch of coins on like Solana or Avalanche or something else weird like that. Hey, look, it finally loaded. Yeah, the loading is not great either, guys. The loading is not great either. You can trade Monero. Oh my God, this is great. You can trade Monero for PLS. You can trade ApeCoin, Arbitrum, Binance, Bcash, Cardano, Chainlink, Doge, EOS, FTM. You can get rid of all these coins if you don't like them anymore. If you see more potential in a brand new layer 1 blockchain with a liquidity bonded trifecta pair, PulseX, HEX, and with a giant community behind it, with an epic founder, with the most hyped up launch since Ethereum, probably since HEX. If that seems better to you than bag holding one of these coins, I don't want to name names, but EOS, if you're bag holding EOS, I don't feel like I'm going to offend a lot of people by picking on EOS, guys. If you're bag holding EOS, or maybe you're bag holding Solana, maybe you're bag holding one of these other coins, and you're not such a big fan anymore, you can buy Pulse with it. I'm just saying you can do it if you want. It doesn't matter. Oh, crap. It cost me $70 just to move out of Ethereum. PulseChain fees are amazing right now. Yep. This guy, Sam Pearson, what he's talking about, if you're new here, is PulseChain basically exists to solve the Ethereum gas problem. Ethereum got too successful. It got too many users, too short of time. The token went up in price massively. So one Ethereum is like $2,000 right now, maybe 1,800. Therefore, transaction fees, aka gas fees, are too damn high. So what did we do? What did Richard Hart do? He forked the blockchain and he copied the system state. So PulseChain's a copy of Ethereum, except we also copied everyone's balances. So if you had ApeCoin, Shiba, HEX, if you had those coins on the Ethereum blockchain, you have a 1-for-1 copy of them on the PulseChain blockchain. Same smart contract, same coin technically, different country. Okay, you could think about PulseChain and Ethereum like different countries. Okay, these are different networks that you need to bridge in between. But basically, guys, PulseChain's the cheaper and faster one. So I like it better too. Now we can't just say, oh, Ethereum's dead. We can't just say, oh, Ethereum's dead. And let's talk about that concept for a little bit, right? No, you don't have to kill one coin to like another coin. All right. This is a stupid logical fallacy that I see a lot of people making. And it roots from scarcity mindset. People think there's not enough. There's not enough money to go around. Guys, if you kill Ethereum, that's just dumb. You don't want to kill the thing that PulseChain was entirely based and designed off of. Ethereum is one of the greatest innovations in crypto, in all of crypto. And you want it to survive so that, the innovations keep happening. Eventually they'll come up with sharding. Might be 4 or 5 years from now, but eventually the fees are going to come down. Eventually things are going to get better on both blockchains, and PulseChain can inherit all of the good changes that Ethereum is developing. We could implement those on the PulseChain too. Okay. So to say, oh, PulseChain, it's all about PulseChain now, Ethereum needs to die. Think about what you're saying. Think about who you're alienating. You know how much actual real blue chip money, old guys, whales, institutions, millions of dollars, 9 digits of stable coins waiting on the sidelines, just tied up in DAI, USDC, USDT, just tied up on the Ethereum network. Massive, massive whales just waiting to redeploy that capital into maybe some blue chip Ethereum tokens. Maybe they want to take a gamble on PulseChain. But if you start talking crap about Ethereum, we need to be symbiotic. PulseChain wasn't built to kill Ethereum. It was built to share the load, to share the love. And basically, you guys, some people out there have a one-track mind where they need things to be black and white, and they don't understand nuance, and they don't understand the concept of both and. It's not either or, it's both and, okay? So, yeah. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing with this whole PHEX, EHEX. Okay? You want to get into that real quick? Because it really bums me out, guys. I'm really disappointed in certain people that want to see EHEX, quote-unquote, die. All right? That's a strong word. If you want to hurt one, you actually hurt them all. I want to repeat that one more time. If you hurt one of the Richard Heart ecosystem coins, you hurt them all. If you want to kill one, it's even worse. If you kill a coin, send it to literally near zero, that's awful. Why? It's awful for holders. It's awful for optics. And because of the way all the liquidity is tied together, it's awful for you too. Now, look, it's clear a lot of you guys out there were fake Hexicans. You weren't even really into Hex. You didn't even stake Hex for the long term because maybe you just don't understand it yet. That's okay. We're still all on the same team. All right. You should want all 3 or all 4 of these coins to actually succeed, because now we have EHEX, PHEX, PulseX, Pulse, right? INC token too. Okay. I don't want INC token to die either. All right. I want all these to do well. So if you're out there saying we need to let EHEX die, that's the dumbest thing you could possibly do for your own bag too. Let's assume that you only like PLS and PulseX because you have the scarcity mindset that you missed the boat on Hex, even though you can buy in at prices that are basically equivalent to almost 2 years ago. It's okay. If you don't understand that, you have another chance to be an OG in all these. If you only wanted Pulse, right, you should still want Hex to do well. I don't care if you don't shill Hex to somebody else. I don't care if you on the side are only telling people to buy PLS. That's fine. But the more money that enters the ecosystem from more different routes, the better. Different strokes for different folks. Not everyone's going to be hooked on the same narrative you are. And you are not the market, okay? You're one guy in the market. Plus, large Hex holders, guess what? Large Hex holders, like I'm not a giant Hex holder, but I'm probably larger than a lot. Guess what? We've also got a big bag of Pulse and PulseX too, because we got into the sacrifice phases too. So we're on your team. I don't care if you like which one you like the most. I mean, some people pick favorites. I really am honestly trying to get an equal bag of all 3. I'm trying to balance my bags out. So I've got 1/3 Hex, 1/3 Pulse, 1/3 PulseX. I'm a little PulseX heavy right now. So trying to divest. That's just because of the sacrifice. That was my decision. Okay. But I want to have equal spreads. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And then I like what your friend Sami says. He says, when it comes to Hex, half EHEX, half PHEX. Sounds pretty good to me. Why? Well, some people think, why would I ever buy EHEX? It's dead. It's wrong. Scarcity mindset. The infighting sucks basically for optics, okay? If you're trying to get new people on board and they come in and they see a giant red candle on the Ethereum chart because you guys just decided that EHEX is dead now. Well, that is terrible for optics. Try explaining to a new person, oh, wait, no. HEX isn't dead. There's actually like a stock split event, and now we've got a PHEX version on PulseChain. Guess what, guys? CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, all these mainstream sites, they're going to be listing EHEX for a while, okay? So you kill EHEX, or if you dump it a lot, you're going to make it look bad. And that's going to scare people off. People are going to see a big red candle. You got to think about it. Really put yourself in new people's shoes. Think about it as the perspective of a new person. They come over, they go CoinMarketCap because they don't know what they're doing. They look at the top CoinMarketCap charts. They don't even realize that HEX is ranked improperly, ranked 201 when it should be like probably number 80 or 70 right now. And they just see red and they're like, well, why would I want to touch PulseChain? Why would I want to touch PulseX? This doesn't look good. I'm not going to buy into this ecosystem. So don't be dumb out there. Don't be dumb. Don't try to pick a winner. It's both. It's all of them. And when some people come in and they see us fighting about stuff, like, you just make yourself look really, really silly. It's not us versus ourselves. We don't want to cannibalize ourselves. It's us versus the Federal Reserve, guys. It's always been us versus the corrupt middlemen. All right. If you're going to go against anybody, and really it's inclusive. Okay. It's not exclusive. We want to include everybody. Even JP Morgan is allowed to buy PulseChain if he wants to. Or not JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, I should say. OGs in Wales, right? They have a lot of ETH. They're on Ethereum network. They look at Ethereum as the premium blockchain. Okay. It's the less risky blockchain. They don't always want to ape into something that's 3 weeks old, right? So they don't always ape into the shiny new thing like PLS is the shiny new thing. And that's not terrible for them. You know, they can be early adopters. They don't have to be the very first adopter, but I don't like being the guinea pig either. If I was a whale on Ethereum, I didn't know Richard for a long time, I wouldn't want to ape into PLS right away. So you got to respect the Ethereum blockchain. Respect the Ethereum blockchain. Respect HEX on the Ethereum blockchain. And don't get all tribal right away for a 3-week-old blockchain that hasn't even... You got to prove yourself, okay? And work together. Form a symbiotic relationship. I know it's a little kumbaya, right? And it's fun to be on teams. But you got to respect Ethereum, and you got to respect that the projects on Ethereum are still looked at as the premier blue chip projects. And HEX with 100% uptime, it's one of the safest products built on top of Ethereum. Okay, it's the store of value app. Went up 10,000x, 95% discount. It is what it is. That's the prices right now. But also, again, tech is not stagnant too. People are like, well, HEX on Ethereum has higher fees. Why would anybody want that? Well, guys, it's clear to me that when people say that argument, it's very clear to me that they're thinking very short term. Very short term. And 2 years is still pretty short term. I've staked up for 15 years in the future. I believe crypto is going to be around my entire life. Okay. And then some. And probably after I'm dead. And I understand that tech gets better. So when Ethereum gets better, there's big improvements coming for it later in 2024. Okay. Which is probably going to cut the gas fees by 8. And that's not even sharding. If sharding happens in 25 or 26, gas fees are going to be cheap on both chains. Okay. And then you're going to have 2 copies of the same coin, EHEX and PHEX, without any of the fee issues. But some of you guys wanted to shoot yourself in the foot because you don't understand still how to hold long term. And it's so obvious. You think you're going to get in and get out in 2 years. You're going to be like, oh, I'm going to buy HEX or I'm going to buy Pulse, the sacrifice. Screw HEX. But, we got to talk about HEX because we got to be nice to them because, basically try to it's a terrible mindset, right? But we're going to pretend to be nice to HEX. But really, I'm just going to buy Pulse and I'm going to buy the bottom and I'm going to sell the absolute top and I'm going to get rich and then see you guys later. I'm going to ride off into the sunset. 2 years isn't even that long of term, guys. It's clear to me that you guys haven't even staked your HEX for longer than maybe 1 or 2 years at all, if at all. Some of you guys have actively admitted, yeah, I never staked HEX. You didn't do it the way it was supposed to do, the way it was supposed to be done. See, a lot of people got rich in HEX because of the staking mechanism. All right. And PulseChain doesn't have that. PulseX doesn't have that. Now, yes, Maddie Allen is coming out with a very cool thing. It's called Time Pays Me. You can use it. I probably will recommend it when it's out. But mark my words, guys, a lot of you guys are going to get shaken out by FUD, shiny objects, scams, day trading, all the common pitfalls because you don't have the ability to lock up your Pulse and save yourself from yourself. Some of you guys are going to try to use liquid loans and under collateralize your loan and get liquidated. Some people, there's a million landmines that you're going to be able to step on. And so it's you make it seem so easy, or you look at the Hexicans and you're like, oh, it was so easy for them. Guess what? If I didn't stake my HEX in a ladder all the way from like 2 years to 15 years at the beginning, I would have probably sold early too. I would have gotten scared. I might have ran away, but HEX literally saved myself from myself. It paid me to hold through the FUD. It paid me. HEX pays you to have diamond hands. It pays you to fix your psychology and do the only thing that really works when it comes to making wealth. You can make money in trading, but you can't really make wealth. And if you can, good for you. You're 1 out of 1,000. Or you work for a prop shop, or you work for a real trading firm. Okay. Show me a lot of these traders out there that aren't selling courses that have actually gotten rich doing day trading. Okay. So HEX locks you in. It's staking with consequences. It forces you to hold and do the one thing that matters in crypto. And that's why so many people had success and are still having success with HEX, because they were forced into it because they made a contract with themselves. But yeah, staking is optional. And a lot of you guys aren't doing that clearly because you're thinking you're going to get in and out in 2 years. I don't think you realize what that means. I don't think you realize how hard that really is. Some people are realizing it now after their first 60% dip. They're like, oh, crap. What, you mean it doesn't go up and to the right forever? Oh, that's kind of scary. But people in HEX are winning because of long-term thinking and staking, okay? So if you're not having a similar mindset with Pulse and PulseX, it's going to be hard for you, okay? And people have this narrative, oh, we're just the exit liquidity. We're just buying their bags, you know? It's like, well, guess what? We've also got bags of Pulse and PulseX too. So if you want to get mad at the OGs or the people that only got in, a year earlier than you, that's not even OGs. Anyone that's in today is an OG. If you found out about a project in the first 3 weeks, you're a freaking OG. Think about 5 years from now. Don't think about next year. Don't think about 2 years. I know it's hard for a lot of people to think longer than like even 2 years, but really think about 5 years from now. Are you really going to care that some people in HEX got in a year before you, or maybe at the most like 2 years before you, maybe 3? So we're on the same team. Stop acting like we're not. We're all on the same team. It doesn't matter which coin you like. Just don't actively FUD one of the coins that are all liquidity bonded to each other, okay? And here's the thing too. These coins can easily come back. HEX, let's say a couple of arbitrage guys come get a look at it, right? Some kind of degen, kind of shiesty guys. They take a look at the HEX price differential, and that, a light bulb goes off in their head, and they say, we can craft a narrative for arbitrage opportunities here. We can try to convince everyone that 1 HEX should equal 1 PHEX, and that, there's an opportunity because they're not at parity right now, but they should be. And then our bots can make a bunch of money, and people can and might do this. All right. There's a chance they can do this. The liquidity farms can come back. Richard can decide to go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to incentivize EHEX, PHEX again. Now that all the plebs dumped their EHEX, now that they all emergency end staked, all the short-term thinkers are out. Boom, click a button. HEX, EHEX pairs are back. They can come back anytime. They can come back next month, next week, 2 months from now. And all it's going to take is one little green candle on EHEX for all you guys to flip. All you guys to question yourself, question everything you know, everything about yourself. All it's going to take is one good green candle, and you're going to be thinking, oh, crap, maybe I was wrong to sell all my EHEX. Shoot. Oh, man, the ratio is back up to 0.9 today. Maybe EHEX actually does have a future. And then you realize that you just wrecked yourself because you couldn't think longer than a month. So wishing for a coin to die hurts the whole brand, the entire brand, because, again, EHEX is tied to HEX. HEX is tied to Pulse. PulseX is tied to Pulse. USD is tied to Pulse. Pulse is kind of like the attractor, the big magnet for everything, right? But because Pulse liquidity is tied to all these things, and then EHEX is tied to HEX, you'll notice that when all these coins dipped, they all dipped 63% or 61% in some of them. They all had such a similar dip in magnitude because of the way the liquidity pools are all tied together and incentivized. It's very, very deliberate. So it's, if you know, you know. Okay, I'm trying to tell you guys, this anti-EHEX thing, whatever, it's a scarcity mindset, right? It comes from people that obviously just dump their bags and they're just talking their bags, okay? They want everyone else to do what they did so they don't feel silly. And it's short-termism, okay? It's just short-termism. You don't have to go shill it to all your friends. You don't have to go promoting it if you don't really believe in it. Now, I do believe in it, but if you don't, that's fine. That's totally fine. Just don't FUD your own ecosystem. You know what I mean? I feel like we're kind of beyond that. So this is probably the last time we'll even talk about this silly little debate. But look, guys, I mean, there's other things you can do too, besides even selling EHEX. You can provide liquidity and earn fees on PulseX V2. You can do that right now. I'm going to be taking a look at doing that next time my stake comes out. Still got a couple weeks for that, but when I'm unstaked, hey, thanks for the sub. When I'm unstaked, I'm going to take a look at putting my EHEX to work to make fees, assuming that, there's low volatility in that EHEX hex pair. So that's another thing you can do. Maybe you don't like hex staking. Maybe you don't think staking EHEX is a good thing. Well, you don't have to dump it to make money. You can just pair it to hex, let the market decide, and make fees in the process. Now, granted, that's assuming that, and I'll give this a very, very small chance, the market will decide which one's worth more and less. And yeah, the market might decide that EHEX is worth 50% of a PHEX, maybe. That'd be kind of a bad scenario. But there's a very, very, very small chance to me that EHEX actually, quote unquote, dies. Now, no coin ever really dies, right? They just trade very, very low. But for let's say for EHEX to go to 10% of a PHEX, for the ratio to get to 10 to 1, that's going to take a lot of sell pressure. And I really don't see that happening. To me, what it looks like right now on the chart is that we've kind of found potentially a bottom at 0.7 EHEX to 1 hex. And we could, move around up and down between 0.7 and 0.8 for a while, for all I know. Maybe 0.9. I don't know. But it's really, really hard for somebody to completely kill the coin. So I'm not even scared of that happening. I'm just saying that people wanting that to happen, it just blows my mind how dumb that is. But yeah, instead of dumping too, you could just, if you notice the liquidity ratio stabilizing, you could provide LP and earn fees. Yes, you're not earning INC right now, but with PulseX V2, you can earn fees and maybe make a little bit of money. I'm definitely going to experiment with that. So the market decides at the end of the day. I just think that we can do better. We can do a little bit better as a community, and we don't have to FUD one thing to like another thing. You don't have to FUD one thing to like another thing, okay? People are talking about the OA. Guys, we also can't have any expectation of profit from the work of others. Of course, the OA could come and just super bond 1-to-1 EHEX to PHEX. He could fix the ratios easily, right? But the OA is a dormant entity for... If you look at old clips of Richard basically just said, let's let the market decide. That's what I'm saying too. We're going to let the market decide where the ratio ends up. This has never been done before. We've never had a scenario where all of the coins are literally copied 1-to-1. It's very, very interesting. It's very, very cool. But it doesn't mean we're going to instantly be at 1-to-1 parity or ever be at 1-to-1 parity. But you got to stop sitting around and hoping that the OA is going to do something. People that just sit around and hope that the OA is going to pump their bags one day, it's really, really sad, right? And the OA is, look, the bigger the whale you are, the slower you move. The more calm and calculated you can be. Because you're a whale, you can afford to stay underwater longer where everybody else drowns. If you're a whale, you stay underwater as long as you can before everyone else drowns, and then you come up for air at the very end. Right? That's the benefit you have of being a larger holder. I'm starting to learn this. So, hoping and praying that the OA is going to do something overnight or next week. It doesn't have to, and why should it? Why not shake out the maximum number of non-believers? Why not see who really wants to put their money where their mouth is? Who was caught with their pants down, not staking their hex at all? Let them dump all their hex. If you don't believe in hex, it's time to dump it. But if you do, or if you look at these dips as a buying opportunity, no financial advice, but it's right in front of your face, okay? Right in front of your face. Cool. So that rant is over, I think. Yeah, guys, some people just got to remember why we're here and remember the value prop of all your coins too. What actually gives these things value? Long story short, guys, PulseChain's a better Ethereum, PulseX a better Uniswap, Hex is a better Bitcoin. Okay. Now, PulseChain better Ethereum. Why? Because it's cheaper, faster, deflationary. You've actually got some validators in PulseChain that are only burning the supply only. So deflationary, coins are being burnt. Prices are like 100x cheaper, maybe 80x cheaper. A little bit faster, a couple seconds faster. It's like less than 10 seconds as opposed to like 15 seconds. PulseX, better Uniswap. Why? PulseX has a buy and burn function, okay? Rather than having fake governance, which is really useless. Like the Uni token has a governance contract, right? But guess who owns 90% of the Uni tokens? Uniswap Labs, Hayden Adams. So really, they can just have the final say in whatever decision they want, right? There's also On Uniswap, there's an option at any time they could flick a switch, and they almost did this. It came down to a vote. Luckily, they voted no. But they could always flick a switch to start paying 0.7% of the Uniswap fees straight to the venture capitalist pockets. Straight there. Now, instead, PulseX, what we did is we hijacked that 7% thing, but there's no way for that to get paid to a VC's pocket, okay? The 7%, the 0.7% will always get routed to a buy and burn contract, which literally is only a buyer of PulseX. It buys PulseX on the open market and it burns itself, okay? So the more volume is going on PulseX, the more PulseX token is bought and burnt on the open market. Market bought. Literally market bought. Anyone can press the button. You just go to app.pulsex.com and go find it. You'll find it. Go find the burn button. You can click it yourself. You can literally click the button to pump the price of your own coin. It's pretty cool. It's also got staking potential, which Uniswap doesn't have, right? PulseX, one day we might have single-sided staking, liquidity pools. A lot of people are saying, speculating that that's coming soon. I don't know if it's going to be soon or not, but you can't do that with Uni, can you? You can stake PulseX one day, hypothetically, single-sided staking. So PulseX does a lot more than Uniswap, and buy and burn is simple enough. Simple enough that even the midwits can understand it. Now, HEX, this is the one people don't like, right? People don't like this one, especially the Bitcoin maxis, but HEX is actually a better Bitcoin. It's trying to be. Now, Bitcoin is better at certain things. Bitcoin has more liquidity, better brand recognition. We need Bitcoin. I'm not saying we need to get rid of Bitcoin. Notice how I'm not saying kill Bitcoin. Notice how I'm not saying kill any coin. We need these all to live, okay? But Bitcoin walked so that HEX could run, okay? Bitcoin paved the way as to what's possible. It proved that cryptocurrencies can be a store of value. And in fact, that's probably one of the only things they do is they store value pretty damn good at the expense of extreme volatility, right? But look, Bitcoin went from a penny to $69,000 in 12 years. HEX went from hundredths of a penny to 50 cents in 2 years. Then it dropped 90%. This is what crypto does, okay? Volatility, but it also stores value. Now, HEX actually has less negative externalities than Bitcoin does. Bitcoin miners, in order to mint new coins, they need to mine Bitcoin by basically running a bunch of machines that burn up the environment, that are very costly, and then they got to pay their electricity bills. How do they pay that? The electricity bills. They need to sell some of the Bitcoin that they just mined out of thin air with their wasteful machines, and that's a criticism of Bitcoin, okay? Proof of work is not the most environmentally friendly. Proof of stake is much better. What's even better is if the HEX smart contract is isolated and modular and doesn't even touch any layer one technology at all. It lives on top of a blockchain. So HEX is like if somebody encapsulated Bitcoin with better game theory, put it in an immutable smart contract, and put it on top of a blockchain. It's on Ethereum and it's on PulseChain. So less negative externalities. Instead of basically having to pay your hardware bills by selling some of the Bitcoin every month, HEX just pays stakers the inflation. HEX inflates at a very small amount, equates to about 1.8% a year. Yes, it's 3.69%, but in reality, it's about 1.8% net inflation due to people unlocking and when they unlock, because not everybody unlocks, on January 1st every year. So, yeah, we pay stakers to hold the price up rather than miners to sell the price down. And we pay stakers to do the only thing that matters in crypto, which is buying and selling and taking supply off of the market and actually technically burning your coins while you're mining inflation. So to mine inflation in Bitcoin, you got to tear up the environment. Mine inflation in HEX, you just got to press a button and stake it and basically take the remove sell pressure rather than add sell pressure. It's modular code. It's actually safer. Bitcoin's been hacked twice. HEX has never been hacked. 100% uptime. People don't realize how rare that is in crypto. It's been audited 3 times. I don't know if Bitcoin's ever had an audit. I mean, Bitcoin's had 2 inflation bugs in the past. I don't know if it's ever been audited. HEX has been audited 3 times. It's immutable. What does that mean? No backdoors, no admin keys, decentralized design, very high yield, very high yield. I mean, right now for a 10-year stake, you'll be getting 60% APY or something like that. Better founder, better community, better website, better brand, better color scheme, better price potential. It helps with psychology, which is something that people overlook. It helps save yourself from yourself. That's what I mentioned earlier. Hex staking is staking with consequences. So it actually helps you lock up your coins so that you don't touch them and you're not tempted to, because you know if you try to emergency end your stake, you're going to get penalized and potentially lose all your money. So by having these 5, 6, 7 year stakes, I'm actually ensuring my financial future. Just given that Hex is still around, even if the price of Hex is flat, even if it doesn't move, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to, I mean, it's not going to go up and to the right in a straight line, but I'm pretty sure in 5 years' time, the price is probably going to be higher than it is now. How high? I have no idea. But theoretically, the price of Hex could just be a stable coin. And it would still be attractive to hold because you're earning a crazy high yield. Longer pays better. So 1 year stakes get about 10% APY. 5 year stakes get about 25% APY. 7 year stakes get about 40% APY. It's longer pays better. It's what you need to know. Okay. So it's designed to hold. It's designed to hodl. It's designed to appreciate in price. And it's real TVL. Okay. Real value locked. So that's what Hex is. And if you guys didn't know, that's kind of the narrative. That's the use case of all these three coins. Let's recap again. Remember, guys, PulseChain, better Ethereum. PulseX, better Uniswap. Hex, better Bitcoin. So what did we learn? I hope we learned something today. Dang, I've been ranting for 46 minutes. Won't Bitcoin go up too, considering it's known as Zcoin? Of course it will. Yeah, Bitcoin's going to go up too. Look, every coin is going to go up, dude. Every coin in the bull market is going to go up. It's just that because Bitcoin is so old, it becomes a heavier object to move. Now, let's talk about, some people are going to think that I'm like shitting on Bitcoin. I'm not, all right? Bitcoin needs to be there. Bitcoin is better than Hex in a couple of ways. What are they? Bitcoin has way more liquidity. It's got institutional grade liquidity, hundreds of millions of dollars, which is good. It's good for brand recognition. It's good for people to, take their first steps into crypto. If they want to dip their toes in the water, they can start with Bitcoin. It's become a household name. Everybody's heard of Bitcoin. Even your grandma's heard of Bitcoin, probably. She probably thinks it's a scam, but she's probably heard of it. So yeah, Bitcoin's going to go up too. But like when the bull market comes around, yes, having the most liquidity is a good thing, right? Because it's institutional grade. Millions of dollars can come in and out. But that means millions and millions of dollars need to go in to pump the price a little bit. Whereas if you put $100 million into the market and you just market bought Bitcoin, you'd be lucky if the price goes up like 2%, 3%. Put $100 million into Hex right now, or PulseChain or PulseX, any of these coins, because they're so low liquidity, you're going to skyrocket the price. If you try to market buy $100 million worth, you're going to 10x the coin overnight in one candle. Now, nobody's going to do that because people aren't silly like that. When they have $100 million, they don't just market buy. But it's essentially, long story short, when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins, even Ethereum, they're like kind of like having leverage on your Bitcoin because they go up higher and faster, but they also go down heavier too. So let's say Bitcoin does a 6x, maybe 7x, right? Peak of the next bull market, Bitcoin's at 200K. I think that would be pretty good for Bitcoin. They're all going to go up together because it's crypto. The whole market moves together. Okay. Not shitting on Bitcoin, but if you want more than a 6x return, like you need to be in altcoins. Okay. So I like this new ecosystem personally because it's where all the energy's at. It's where all the community's at. Better value props, better price potential, more volatility, meaning, the dips are going to be dipper. The dips are going to be dippier, but the pumps are going to pump harder. All right. So if you have Hex, PulseChain, PulseX, chances are that if Bitcoin doubles, well, these coins are probably going to do a 20x. That's just it's just like the rule of markets. It's okay. It's kind of like the law of liquidity. That's how liquidity works. Okay. Without overcomplicating that. Quote of the day. The pumps are pumpier, but the dips are dippier. I market buy all the time, 100x leverage, max bidding. Don't do that. But I like your attitude. Okay, I shall take questions from the audience, I suppose. What if you put $1 of BCH in Pulse wallets and put seed phrases on a card and pass out 100 of those outside Tesla Twitter headquarters until Elon appears and hears about the card that say BCH PLS on them? Dude, Rift, that's a great idea. Man, that's pretty damn good for a marketing idea. for an onboarding idea, that's pretty good, man. I mean, man, Rift, Icarus. Can you imagine if Elon Musk actually came out? He's like, what's all this? What is this? What is this? Dogecoin? Ha ha. Dogecoin? Oh, PulseChain. Okay. I'll take a look. That's my shit Elon impression. Yeah, dude. If Elon got a hold of some of these cards, if you were handing them out of Twitter headquarters, Tesla headquarters, man, you would probably make some headlines, or maybe at least in the crypto world, right? You would have a lot of social media engagement on that, because it's one thing to actually do this, but then it's another thing to film yourself doing it and post it on Twitter, post it on YouTube. Maybe a local news station picks it up. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Coffee is duh poop. Elon is poop. I like Elon. Sorry, guys. I know it's controversial. I'm on Team Elon, right? I'm on Team Elon. Who is my biggest stan? My biggest stan? I don't even know, man. That's some Gen Z talk right there. I'm a millennial, boy. I don't do that Gen Z talk. People ask me, like, who do you look up to and stuff? And it's like, I used to look up to a lot more people in terms of influencers and all that stuff. But now I'm kind of just like, I like me, and I don't have time to sit around watching Gary Vaynerchuk videos all day. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be like, hustle, bro. And you're like, thanks, man. Good advice. Why didn't I know? I just hustle. Why didn't I think of that? Stan, aka Eminem Stalker, lol. That's a great song, right? Stan is a millennial. Stan is millennial. Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know. Guys, I am out of touch, if you can't tell. All I know is crypto. My biggest stan is probably Elon, though. Honestly, guys, I'm just kidding. I know what it means, but I'm a supporter. I'm a stan. Kanye, can't really. It's kind of hard to get behind him, but I just respect everyone that's truly being themselves out there, that truly does not give a shit. There's a lot of those guys out there, and I like them. All right, guys, what else do we want to talk about today? PulseChain tools coming out. PulseChain Hub, guys, if you don't know already, PulseChain Hub, we got a guy, Gold Key. Gold Key made this, and it's got the every useful link you'll ever need for PulseChain. So if you don't want to have a giant bookmarks folder, just check out that link I posted in chat. It's bento.me/PulseChain. And it's going to have all your links for anything PulseX, anything PulseChain, even all the old HEX stuff. It's all there. Okay. So go ahead, guys. Go ahead. But yeah, it's time, guys. It's time. This is the time. You're either loading up your bags now, you're either getting your bag together right now because you've had 10 months to do so, or, who knows, any week now, any month. You might wake up in August one day, you're too scared to buy. Imagine this. You're waiting for lower prices. Just had a 60% dip, by the way, but you're still waiting for lower prices for whatever reason. August comes around. We have our first 50% candle day. PulseChain over the next 2 months has a 10x, 20x, 30x. You're like, oh my God. Oh, I should have bought in June. What was I doing? I'll just wait for the dip. It dips 50%, but guess what? Yeah, it's going to dip 50% again, but now you're 5x up from the bottom. I really do believe this is kind of the turning point of the bull market right now. And now a lot of people are saying that. So that means if everyone's saying it, we might have one more fake out down before we go up and to the right, before we kick off bull season again. But I mean, in my opinion, the macro, the cryptoverse, it's all kind of aligning. Full moon, full moon yesterday. It's all coming together, boys. It's all coming together. I also like fatty.io if you're looking for a cool way to track all your coins. This can track all your ICOSA, all your Hedron, all your liquidity positions, everything. Fatty.io with a PH. I just posted the link in the description. Check that one out. How will the new Coast Fiat on-ramp work? Good question. So basically, it's really, really cool. What the Coast team did is they figured out a way to basically be outside of the flow of funds, which means that as a essentially they're going to be a stablecoin provider. But what they're doing is when you sign up with 0x Coast, you make your own account, and that account gives you your own unique individual bank account. So what Coast is doing is, basically it's a platform that makes an individual bank account for every single user, thousands and thousands of bank accounts. And you do need a special banking relationship to do this, which they've already locked down. And they're copying the method that hey, thank you for the sub, Ernie. They're copying the method that TUSD is using. And TUSD, for those that don't know, is one of the safest stablecoins out there. It's had the least amount of regulatory scrutiny, as far as I've ever heard. No one's ever lost money in it. It's basically a stablecoin that you need to deposit your own money into your own bank account in order to mint the stablecoin. And if you don't, and in order to redeem that USD back to a different bank and take it out of the Coast platform, you need to come back with some CST stablecoin that you minted in order to redeem for your regular dollar again. So if you put in $10,000 and you mint 10,000 CST stablecoins, and then you go trade them all away, and let's say you're only left with 5,000 because you did something stupid. Well, you can't get your $10,000 back. Okay, you can only get $5,000 back because it's your money that's locked up, and minting your own stablecoin, that's your responsibility. Okay. Alternatively, you could make more. You can go out there and do something crazy, and you could double your stablecoins. You can come back with 20,000, and you can actually redeem 20,000 actual dollars, because every stablecoin in the system had to have originated from somebody's bank account that they put money into the bank. Does that make sense? So it's an on-ramp that basically sets up a mini bank account for everybody. And instead of having one central bank that's collecting all this money from investors and VCs and hoarding a bunch of money like Coinbase does, basically Coinbase just has a bunch of cash and cash equivalents, and they put them in the bank. And then they're able to issue their stablecoin based off their balances on their personal bank. But what Coast is doing is it's offloading that responsibility of even having their own personal bank. And it's just giving every individual their own personal bank. So there's no possible way for a CST stablecoin to exist if a user, him or herself, hadn't already deposited a real US dollar into the Coast platform. So it's really, really cool. And it's going to be a really awesome on-ramp. Beta is launching, I think, this week for Americans. Finally a little something for the USA. Finally, guys. OKX. Yeah, that's great for China. Kanga, that's great for the European Union. It's great for Poland. What about us? What about us little old Americans, guys? We're the ones with all the money. Just kidding. But there's so much crypto activity in America that it's really a shame that our country's government is not farther along in developing regulatory frameworks. So it's a shame. What about us? It's okay. We got Coast, guys. We got Coast. Why isn't X and EHEX at parity? It's an arbitrage opportunity. Could you not buy on the cheaper chain and sell it on the higher one, which will bring it to market equilibrium eventually? Yes, you could. This is exactly what I was talking about. Filmmaker 909, when enough people have this idea, they could easily turn the tides. Basically, the reason you're seeing a discrepancy right now is because there's a difference in thought. Essentially, there's a difference in ideology, primarily among real hexicans and just people that are like pulse only people, or people that dumped all their EHEX. Some people think that EHEX should have no value or just die, or you know what I mean? So you're seeing this discrepancy, which other people are seeing as an opportunity. Okay. So look, I don't know if this is the bottom for EHEX in terms of the ratio to PHEX. It could go lower, but at some point, I do believe that people will see this, like you're seeing it, as an arbitrage opportunity, and buy the cheap EHEX to make the ratio go up. And then, but no, it's not quite as easy as you can't just buy it on the cheaper chain and sell it on the higher one, because it's two separate tokens. Okay, so the second part of your sentence is not really true. You can't just buy it up on the cheaper chain and then sell it on the more expensive one. But you can try to buy it on the cheaper. You can try to buy the cheaper version to adjust the ratio up, and then hope that everybody else gets on board, and then everyone else also buys the ratio up, and then you could sell it at parity, like at 1-to-1. But you need a difference in opinion. You need a lot of this ideology, this anti-EHEX ideology, to kind of fade away and die, which it will. It will, guys. People are going to forget about this in 2 weeks. I got to remind you guys, people are going to forget about all this stupid fighting. Franklin says I dumped my EHEX, but only my liquid bag. That's fine, dude. That's totally fine. Like, I'm not mad at people for dumping it. It's just like, I'm more so disappointed when I see people just calling for it to die. You are totally fine. Do whatever you want with your EHEX. But at some point, I actually just restaked my EHEX personally, because at some point I believe that the arbitrage narrative is going to come back. I believe that the first narrative is going to come back. The premium blockchain narrative. What does that mean? Guys, why are NFTs worth more on Ethereum than any other chain? Because when they're on other secondary chains, they're looked at as secondary items. It's like the goodwill. If you have an NFT marketplace on Avalanche, it's like going and shopping at Goodwill. When you're buying NFTs over on Ethereum, you're shopping at the Gucci store. Okay. It's the original, and people mentally value that at a premium. And that goes for the original version of the coins too. It's like having a first edition Pokemon card is worth more than having, that might be a too millennial of me. Let's do one for the boomers. Okay. It's like having a classic car, right? Like, you have this classic car. Yes, it's really old, but because it was so old, but it was great at the time, it's kept its value because it was like the original premium brand identity. I hope that makes sense. And I think that some people are going to feel that way about EHEX. I don't see EHEX dying. So, and if I don't see it dying, I don't really feel like selling it at a discount to PHEX right now. And I'm starting to see the ratio thin out. I'm starting to see the ratio equalize at about 0.7, maybe 0.8. So when I do have liquid EHEX, which will be pretty soon, instead of just dumping it for PHEX, I will consider, based on the stagnant, again, based on the volatility of the ratio, I will consider doing a liquidity pair on PulseX V2. Coffee, I love how you were on the boat a couple days ago and now in the house. Keep making it happen. Yeah, I got a little burnt out there, actually. So I gotta shut myself in and lock myself in my dungeon. I closed all the blinds. I had to buy a air conditioner. See this air conditioner behind me? Gets hot in here, man. This place really heats up like a greenhouse in the summertime. And yeah, your boy Coffee got some sun, if you can't tell. Look at this. We need to keep building the community, the largest community present, building together. Thank you, Crypto Truth. I think the great thing about the dumps are the spike in T-share rate. Yeah. A lot of people EESing are making the T-share rate go way up. That's another reason that maybe one day, EHEX will be considered more of the premium OG HEX. Because remember, at first, people were valuing EHEX higher than PHEX. Guys, it can change on a dime. It can change on a whim. Everyone's mentality is going one way, 1 week. It could totally shift to a 180 the next week. And there's going to be insiders, and there's going to be psyops. There's going to be people that told you to dump your EHEX that are now telling you to buy it. There's going to be some dirty tricks that people are going to play. So I know how quickly things can change in crypto. So I'm not by any means anywhere close to calling EHEX dead. You know what I mean? It could go down to 0.4. It could go down to 0.4 to 1. And it would still be alive to me. I would still be like, okay, well, I've got 40% more HEX. You know what I mean? It's just framing, right? It's really about framing. Glass half full, glass half empty, scarcity mindset, abundance mindset. A lot of people are like, well, people are just going to get confused. We need to tell them there's only one real HEX. And it's like, no. Slow down. Because all you guys that were HEX only people, the minute before the fork happened, you now have to become multi-coiners, right? And so now a lot of people out there, we all like PulseChain, PulseX, and HEX. And now EHEX. Well, where do you draw the line? 4 coins is too much, but 3 coins is okay. Oh, but you add that 4th coin in. Oh, that's too much. We can't be confusing everybody. Guys, we're already in a multi-coin environment. We got to adapt to that. We got to get used to it. You pick the coins you like, you onboard the people into the coins you like for whatever reasons that you like them, but you don't shoot your other coin behind the shed, You don't just like drag your other coin back behind the shed and it's game over, because that hurts everyone's backs. See, people say, well, we need to focus the economic energy on just a couple things. And it's like, well, the more options, the more routes that you have into the ecosystem, the better, because they're all connected. More routes into the ecosystem is better. Some people might be afraid or not understand PulseChain right away, and they want some exposure to the ecosystem, so they go ahead and buy HEX. Or some people might have already bridged, let's say, $1 million over to the PulseChain network, and they're seeing a discrepancy in EHEX, PHEX, kind of like the last comment, kind of like Filmmaker 909 said. And they're going to be on the PulseChain with a whole big bag of stable coins. They got $1 million, and they're going to say, oh, this EHEX and PHEX thing, there's a little bit of a price differential here. Maybe I should close the gap a little bit. So people might just buy EHEX on PulseChain, where it's cheaper and faster to do so, just because they think of it as being an opportunity. Okay. So you might think one way, and that's fine. We could all think different ways. We could all have our favorite coins. I know a lot of you guys out there probably don't care about HEX at all, and you're just pretending to. That's okay. As long as we're not actively trying to like shit talk HEX or either HEX, really, because like I just don't think people realize how they're hurting their own bag in the process. You know, they're hurting their own bag by talking bad about the bag that's really, really closely connected with their bag. Hope that makes sense. HEX is the king. HEX will always be the king for me, just due to the staking, just due to the fact that I know I've got paper little soy lettuce hands. Without that staking, my hands would just be flopping around everywhere like a wet noodle. But because we've got staking, I'm able to make 40% APY by doing nothing at all, by just talking on the internet and not giving a crap about what the price is today or tomorrow or whatever. Now, it's actually been like, it's been more hectic for me already in the past 3 weeks, because I've got this PulseChain and this PulseX, and they're not locked up, and I could do whatever I want. So I'm like, we got a lot of cool shiny objects over here. I could do some liquidity stuff. I could go mess around with that protocol over there, Earn protocol, liquid loans. There's a lot more stuff for me to do. That means there's a lot more ways for me to shoot myself in the foot too. So it's a bit stressful, right? It's almost like now I'm worried about how I got to go check the screen every day to check on my impermanent loss. And if I notice the ratio is getting too out of whack, I need to pull it. That's like a job, that's like it's like kind of like a daily task that I now have to do, rather than just sit on my hands and stake and chill, set it and forget it. So yeah. Acid Thunder, I don't want to spend my life clicking. Staking mining is the way to go for me. Yeah, I like a mix. I like different strategies, and that's cool, Acid Thunder. I agree. It is really, really fun, though, to play around in this new ecosystem. But at some point, you got to say, wait, am I just spinning my wheels here? Now, luckily, my INC rewards right now, I went back into liquidity pools on V1 for PulseX. My INC rewards are doing amazing. So I'm very happy with that. So I'm happy to have a little bit of more of an active approach there. But you're not going to catch me day trading. Hey, that Martini guy bought 20K worth of EX the other day. This is exactly what I mean. That Martini guy, thank you, EP. That Martini guy is a perfect example of a guy who loves the Ethereum blockchain. He's an OG in crypto. He's not familiar with PulseChain yet. He's not even that familiar with HEX. And he sees EHEX being 99% down. And he just knows instinctively, oh, wow. I know that HEX thing has a giant community behind it. And it's really, really down right now. I'm just going to buy 20K. I'm just going to buy a 20K bag. Maybe it's a moon bag for him. Chances are he's probably not staking it, but that's the mentality. This is all the big money. This is how they think. They're not going to rush into trying to figure out, oh, there's an EHEX and a PHEX, and oh, I can bridge over to PulseChain. No, they just see, dang, that HEX coin. Didn't that do a 10,000X last year? And now it's 90% off. People are still talking about it, right? It's still a thing. I'm going to buy myself a little 20K bag, casual. LP is high, but maintenance. LP is high maintenance, but can be really lucrative. Yes, can be. LP is like a high maintenance girlfriend. Good point, crypto stylist. Crypto coffee, thoughts on risk of getting in pools and missing gains because of impermanent loss. Look, let's say you join the PulseX pool. Okay. It's going to pay you out a lot of INC. You might earn like $50 a day if you put in a bag of like $100,000. Okay. But you got to ask yourself, like, okay, let's say you put in 3 million PulseX and 1 million Pulse, and you wake up the next day you wake up 2 weeks from now and you've got let's say you've got 1.5 million PulseX, but you've also got 1.5 million Pulse. So you're up 500,000. So you're up, 500,000 PLS, but your PulseX bag has been cut in half. That's impermanent loss because now you're holding more of Pulse, but you're holding less PulseX. And we can only assume that that's because the price in USD of PulseX had gone up a little bit. Now, because they're locked together and the liquidity pool is so girthy, basically that means that you're a little bit safer. You're insulated because really the main USD pools are PulseChain only. PulseChain is tied to USDT, USDC, and DAI specifically. And PulseX is primarily tied to PulseChain. Okay. Yes, it does have a DAI pair, but it's not that liquid. So you just got to mentally prepare yourself. You're going to have more of one coin and less of another coin. And if you're not expecting that to happen, well, what do you think was going to happen? You know what I mean? That's just, you got to mentally prepare yourself. Am I a validator? Yes. Although I pulled my validator yesterday. Let me see. So I exited my validator yesterday because I just wanted to test out exiting. And there was also a new Prism client version. So I think it takes 27 hours to fully exit. So I got to wait, I don't know, 8 more hours or something until my validator's exited. I don't know though. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to go back and be a validator again. It's really not that hard. The command line scripts, the Docker containers, there's like 3 things. You run Geth, you run Beacon, you run Validator. Make sure your key storage is all correct, and you're good to go. But if you don't know command line, Codecademy command line. All right. What are we talking about now? We got Bigfoot in the chat. Launchpad.pulsechain.com is one of the sites to keep updated on validator info. Yes. All right, guys. I'm hot and sweaty. I think I'm going to get going. Thank you so much for coming, guys. 470 of you. Cheers to the future, and it's going to be an awesome ride. I hope you're buying the dip, because sometimes the dips stop dipping, and then the pumps start pumping. And, you might wish you did. You might wish you bought it. No financial advice. Guys, smash the like, smash the subscribe. Thank you so much. Mom Spaghetti on a sweater already. Indeed, Hyper Sniper. Hey, thank you so much for the tip. The 21st dimension. EHEX or HEX are Siamese coins. Wake up and load your EHEX like crazy before it's too late. Thank you for the tip. The 21st dimension. That's a good note to end on. Good note to end on. Yes, the dips will get dippier. And that's all I got, guys. I can't. I love you guys, but I can't keep going. I got to go cool off. Adios. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye.